You're listening to Instantly 20, an original podcast where we discuss navigating life in your early 20s.
I'm Ash.
And I'm Keely.
And on today's episode you're listening to, Has TikTok Changed the Way We Think?
Today we have decided to touch on social media, and something we've really been reflecting on a lot lately is the rise of TikTok and the huge presence it currently has in our society. And just in general, like everyone's daily lives, I feel like it really affects the way we do things. It affects our opinions. And definitely takes up a significant portion of everyone's day. But to start off with, we wanted to kind of explain to anyone that doesn't really know what TikTok is, which I'm sure is a very small percentage. But long story short, I mean, originally it wasn't Vine, but Vine was the first probably short, what do you call it?
Short film, short little reels.
Form. Yeah, short form content platform. And then eventually this new thing came out after Vine shut down called Musical.ly, which I'm sure a lot of people remember. So that kind of is where it started. And then one day Musical.ly just turned into TikTok. And yeah, so today we're definitely going to be touching on TikTok in general and our feelings about it. I think that social media is a massive conversation topic, and we'll definitely touch on it in different ways down the track.
Absolutely. Yeah, really excited to get into today's episode. We might start with our lucky girl syndrome first. Keely, I'll let you go.
Thank you. So I actually really struggled to think of lucky girl syndrome this week. Usually like every day, the original reason why we chose this was that people can, like, including us, can go through every day trying to think of something positive that happened, something lucky that happened. And I honestly could not think of a single thing. And then very last minute, last night, my friend and I had intended on going to a musical, but we were like, oh, we'll just buy tickets last minute just in case, because sometimes they get cheaper on the day. But then I remembered there's this app called Today Tix, and you can get last minute rush tickets, and also like they do like a lottery, and you can just get really cheap tickets. And the reason why this was lucky is I'd had a friend try last week and she missed out and it just wasn't working for her, and I was like, oh, maybe it's like kind of hard to get them these days. Anyway, I jumped on my phone 9 a.m. right on the dot, took me straight through, got my $50 musical tickets, and then we went last night and had the best time.
Oh, I feel like Keely is the luckiest person. She always gets things like really discounted or for free, or when the odds are against you, she just is always coming out on top. I don't know, she is. And I always come to say my lucky girl syndrome, and I'm like, I can never beat Keely. Like, mine are just boring, but anything counts.
Oh,
right. I'm like, something moderately okay happened to me. Let me put that down.
Speaking of which, what is your lucky girl syndrome this week?
Okay. Well, there's this really cute Italian restaurant at the end of our street, and we're not regulars. Like, we don't go there enough for them to know our name, but they kind of like know who we are. Well, no, like we walk our dog past there all the time, and like she's like, the owner has like fed him like some ham and stuff. Aww. Like on the side of the street. It's really cute.
Little
so
moose.
I think she likes us because of our dog. But we went there a few nights ago to get some pizza and pasta, and she just gave us a really generously priced meal. She only charged us $15 for all these pizzas.
Free.
We like got it for like lunch the next day as well.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
And a pasta.
Aw,
like,
yum.
Anyway, it was really good. With saying that, we might jump into our episode today. We've already given a brief synopsis on what the app is. Let's just start with our statistics. We did ask you guys over on Instagram.
Yeah, so we asked our listeners on Instagram a couple of days ago just what their thoughts on TikTok were as well, because we kind of wanted to make sure our conversation was just not our opinion but theirs as well. So the first question we asked our listeners on Instagram was, do you use TikTok? And 90% of them said yes, and obviously that means 10% had said no, which, yeah, I'm surprised to see that anyone actually said no, because I feel like everyone has the app on their phone these days.
And then the next question that we asked was, how many hours per day are you on the app? With 44% of you saying an hour or less, 48% of you said 2 to 3 hours, and 7% said 4 to 5 hours. And I know someone sitting in the room that was part of that percentage.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I went to check if our polls had actually worked when I was on Instagram the other day.
Okay.
No, hear me out. I literally went to check and I accidentally clicked 4 to 5 hours. Honestly, at the time, I thought to myself, I probably am on it 4 to 5 hours a day. But then I went into my insights. Get this. About 4 or 5 days a week, I'm on it 15 minutes per day. And then about 2 days a week, I'm on it for an hour. I was very impressed with myself.
I need evidence.
I will show you my evidence.
Because I think it's an addiction.
How many hours are you on it per day?
2 to 3.
That's a like significant part of your day,
If
though.
it's like, okay, okay.
When are you sitting on TikTok?
What do you mean?
Like what part of your day are you using it?
I get an hour lunch break. So I would say about 45 minutes of that, I'm on TikTok.
That makes sense.
Fair.
See, okay, no, I
And then
don't
the
know.
next 2 hours generally, or like the hour and a half, might just be like when I get home from work.
Okay, that checks out. See, I only really use it at the moment, like in the morning when I wake up, I watch a few videos, I get bored, I get out of the app. But I'll tell you what, I have been listening to so many podcasts lately instead of using TikTok intentionally. And like, I think it's really nice just being able to like listen to other people's podcasts and like get perspective. And it's been a bit of a learning experience. But yes, I have intentionally been trying to switch out TikTok for podcasts.
I think I still need to see the stats.
Dude, I will show you some
She's
of the days
getting
were literally
defensive,
15
guys.
minutes.
She's getting defensive.
You know what I did the other day? I actually went onto my shortcuts on my wherever it is in settings. You can actually limit how many hours per day you use certain apps. So I've gone and put a social media limit of 3 hours, and then it just stops me from it doesn't let me use the app anymore.
Unless
So
you
good.
go into your settings and you change it.
But I haven't been changing it.
I don't think I'd have the willpower. I'd just be like, okay. All right. Jumping into our next question, Keely.
The next question we asked was, what do you use it for? The options were entertainment, research, or content creation, all of the above. 69% of you said entertainment. And then we had 0% for research or content creation, but 31% of people said all of the above. And we also had someone DM us letting us know that she actually uses it for motivation with lifestyle, fitness, and food, which I was like, that's really cute.
You know what? Thinking about it that way, motivation is a big one.
I agree. I feel like there's a lot of like fitness influencers on TikTok these days. And I think it's sometimes just nice to see people's morning routines and the way that they go about their life. I think sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh, I should be doing that too.
Or even like beauty and wellness. And you know what? Even thinking about maybe study. If you're studying something, that could definitely be something that you use it for. Which is funny because we had a conversation, I think it was on air the other day, about how you use TikTok almost as like a Google search. You know, you go like, oh, like is this... Do you put this in that? And I don't know.
I know, I
or
so
something.
do. Because sometimes I just like, if I want to know how to make a casserole, I don't know why that was example.
Are you craving casserole?
I don't even make casserole. Anyway, but for example, you just go on TikTok, go how to make a casserole, and then someone will have made a whole video about it.
You know what? Oh my gosh. I think it's because like most of our generation, we're very visual. Like we're visual learners. It's hard to like read. At least for me, like I'm a visual person.
I don't like cookbooks. I feel like they're too hard. It's too bland. Looks like a dictionary. I don't know.
You'd rather a video.
Yeah, it's more inspiring because you can see the finished product on a video and you go, that looks good.
I think jumping into our last question that we asked our audience was, is your attention span worse because of the short form content?
I'm laughing because like we literally just lost our attention span in that 5 seconds of chatting, and then this is the next question. Yes, we absolutely
It's very
have.
relevant. Like you know how people have like smoke breaks at work? I feel like I need to have a TikTok break sometimes. I'm just like, oh God, I need like 5 seconds just to scroll on TikTok.
Get my scroll fix for the day. No,
yeah,
it's so
literally,
true.
it's like an addiction.
It is an
I
addiction.
swear.
But speaking of statistics, 65% of you said yes, your attention span is worse or slightly worse, and 35% said no. But honestly, even if you haven't realized it yet, I totally think everyone's oh my gosh. I don't know about you, Ash, but can you sit through a movie these days?
Oh my God, that was literally on my notes.
Was it?
Yeah, on my run
Well,
sheet.
we can quickly ask about this.
But no, you know when you're sitting there watching a movie and you're just like, oh, you're like, I just gotta get my thumb workout for a second. But you know what? Like hand in hand with the app, there's some really good things about it, but there's also some really negative things about it. And we might just jump into our list of, do you want to start with the good or the bad?
I feel like the good. Let's start with the positive.
We'll be
note.
positive. Okay, favorite things about the app.
First person said that they love learning random things.
Like facts.
Maybe. I'm assuming facts.
You know what? True, actually, life skills. I always watch those videos that come up. That's like, what to do if you're in an avalanche, or like,
Yes.
how to survive a tsunami. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't think I'm going to be in that situation, but I'll
It's always
sit
good
there
to
and
know.
watch the whole like 3-minute video.
You know, I got through this whole like rabbit hole the other day of watching about bobcats. I didn't even know like what bobcats look like, but now about after that TikTok loophole, I know what they sound like, how to escape a bobcat attack.
Yeah, so
This
true.
is what I mean. You learn the most random things.
No. I learned a fun fact about bears the other day.
What is it?
Oh my God. Okay. When you said attention span, and then this is so us, like we just go back and forth.
We don't have an attention
span. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, stay down.
If it's white, you're going to die.
If it's white, good night.
Oh.
That's literally what they say. If it's brown, stay down. Like you just have to play dead.
That's quite funny because we literally live in Australia and we'll probably never be around a bear unless we go to Canada.
Okay. Well,
koala bears
now
aren't
I
attacking
know how
us.
to escape a bear if it's trying to attack me. But yeah, definitely learning random things and facts is
Like
super fun about the
bear
app.
facts.
Bear facts, bobcat facts. I think as well, like fun things to do, like ideas, recommendations, like hotels, especially if you're traveling or like where to eat and stuff.
I think it's really cool because I think, you know, when you like are starting to plan a trip and you go on Google and you're like, cafes near me, and it never comes up with anything good. But if you go on TikTok, you can always find like locals knowledge and like a bit more just stuff that's actually good and real life reviews.
Again, it's it's not just like an article. You feel like you're actually watching a person. It feels like a friend is telling you their recommendation.
100%. It feels more trustworthy. The next one that we've got is that she wrote, I like the weird, silly phrases and words that become commonplace, which I have one right now.
I know what you're going to say.
Girl dinner.
You're lying if you don't have girl dinners.
Even the boys, you probably had a girl dinner. Got that charcuterie board.
Okay,
got that air
I
fryer
think
chicken nuggets.
users, like my mom doesn't use TikTok, so TikTok. So she's going to be like, what's a girl dinner? She's going to call me being like, what should I be eating for dinner? I'll be like, girl dinner.
Wait, what else is, I'm trying to think of another example.
Oh, I feel like we're on it so much and we reference TikTok phrases all the time. And now
but even like we always go yappa yappa yappa, which I can't remember where we got it from, but I think it was TikTok.
Oh, Shanice, your mouth is moving a lot like a rat.
Yappa yappa yappa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I do love that. And I think when we're all like 80 years old in a nursing home and we're like just saying these things, like I saw a TikTok being like, when the lady in the nursing home tries to give you your dinner and you say, I want a girl dinner.
Literally. I did that.
You did that? You were the nursing home?
I did. I did that filter the other day and it told me that my girl, the first thing that came up was nachos and I was like, yeah, I love a nacho girl dinner. And the next one that came up was birth control.
Oh, wait, is that the auto-generated filter?
Yeah,
that's like, what's your dinner?
It told me that my girl dinner was birth control.
Go listen to our episode about contraceptive and the pill, by the way. We're going to plug it.
Yeah, just quick plug in here. Plug in. Just a quick plug in.
That's your dinner, birth control. Okay, we are getting so distracted. Let's keep jumping onto our favorite things about the app. It makes us laugh. It's so enjoyable.
Enjoyable.
I don't know what's wrong with us today, guys.
We're on another planet. No, but like we were literally just giggling then about girl dinner. Like it brings you so much joy laughing about these random trends. And also a thing, maybe not makes me laugh, but something that makes me smile about TikTok is, you know, when people just do those cute ones, like where you like cap cut a bunch of videos of your friends together. Like I've been doing that a lot lately and it just like romanticizes your life so much. And I just look at videos and I go, oh, I just love my friends. I just love my life.
I do love it. It is a really good source of entertainment.
I agree.
And our last thing on the list that you guys, so the ones we've been reading out has been what you've submitted to us that you like about the app. The last one on here was fashion, wellness, and beauty inspiration.
I love that because like I feel like, I don't know about you, but personally I've really struggled to find my style like ever. I just have always worn weird clothes. I don't know. And I kind of just go, I like that color. I like that jeans. And I put them together. I've never really thought about fashion, but I always get so inspired seeing people's like, get ready with me's. And they put on like a cute coat and they actually think about what shoes go with it. And they're like necklaces and stuff. I'm like, that is so cute.
Yeah. And I definitely think that I think the Hailey Bieber and Sophia Richie kind of clean girl aesthetic has definitely come up with the fashion inspiration in today's society.
Even people like Sofa Dofa, like these girls are just like what they wear. Do you remember the blue corset from Glass-Ons?
Oh, that made her famous.
Literally, like those sort of things just go viral and then suddenly everyone's like, that is what we wear.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it.
You know what? I have to say, just personally, I think that it also can be kind of damaging because we're all like, oh my God, we need to follow this mold and this is what all the girls are doing. And I've never been one to follow trends as they come up. I feel like I jump on it quite late because I'm like, I don't want to do it because everyone else is doing it. And then I go, oh, it's actually really pretty months later.
You know what's interesting about that though is if you think about it, growing up for like our parents, grandparents, magazines is where they got all of this from. It's always been a thing in society that we follow whatever's in front of us and the inspiration. But magazines would have been that before, and now it kind of TikTok's kind of turned into that.
There are always going to be things that are trending in fashion and makeup and beauty that are just things that you don't grab onto, and then the things that you're like, oh my God, I need to do that. But you might not necessarily like it. It might just be because it's popular.
I agree, because even corsets, I used to think that they were a bit weird, and I was just like, why would anyone want a corset? It looks like you're wearing a bra outside. I love corsets now. It was because it was so in my face with TikTok, and then suddenly I was like, wow, I love corset tops.
It almost brainwashes you into thinking you like this.
I think so too.
Because you see it so much.
Oh,
like if
100%.
all of your friends start dyeing their hair freaking red, you're going to be like, oh, like maybe I'll dye my hair red.
You know what though? Brown hair. That's been a trend this whole year and probably like half of last year.
All the blondes going brown.
But like it's just
gold
a thing.
Jewelry, gold hoops, gold jewelry.
Ash
all
has
the
never
girls.
been a gold girl.
And now I'm like questioning. I'm like, am I a gold girl now? Yeah. Like I've always loved silver jewelry, and now I'm like, everyone's wearing gold. Am I like, is silver tacky now? I'm like going through like an identity crisis with freaking gold jewelry. And now I'm like, I'm trying it out. I'm testing it.
I really like it.
And I wouldn't have known that without TikTok.
100%. So there's definitely pros and cons, but I feel like this leads us into the dislikes that people had from TikTok. One person wrote that the fact that it takes up most of their day is something they really hate about it, which going back to the percentages, like most people said they spend 2 to 3 hours a day on TikTok. You only have 24 hours in a day and you spend 8 of those asleep. Like, that's a significant portion of your day, just like scrolling and taking in content.
I will say though, there are people that play video games, like lots of boys, and no one questions boys doing that with their day. And the amount of people that watch like 2 episodes of a TV show, really, like I know young people spend a lot of time on their phones, but really when you look at, break it down, it's still kind of the same content / entertainment time.
That's true. I guess
in a way,
a lot of people binge watching Netflix is a huge thing. Like if I'm sick, I'll spend 12 hours watching Netflix, And you
don't feel bad about it. But as soon as you spend like a couple hours on your phone.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a lot of shame around phone, but I think it's so hard because we've kind of just got to accept that it's a big part of our lives now.
It's been completely integrated into our society using our phones.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, someone also commented that how easily misinformation spreads, and I think that could be definitely directed at like celebrities and pop culture and media.
I also think just like politically, a lot of people, like for example, if something, I'm not going to go into examples, but like if something's trending politically, everyone starts to believe that and it might not even be true.
Absolutely, yeah.
The next one is that sometimes it's very inappropriate, and she said that she just feels really weird that small kids can view it. I was thinking this the other day, and like that, I think for me is OnlyFans. I think
oh my gosh,
OnlyFans is heavily spread about on TikTok. A lot of OnlyFans content creators use TikTok to, get more viewers, which is fine. If that's your thing, that's your prerogative, that's fine. But it is hard because the TikTok algorithm doesn't know that a child is watching it, does it?
Unless you've got the age restriction on it.
But it's so hard because if you think about it, like all kids have phones these days and a lot of parents don't really know how to like actually go in and do these things, and kids are just going to go, oh, what's this?
They're curious, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that that's something that's really scary about TikTok.
Might just do a couple more. This viewer had written that they don't like the way TikTok has impacted the music industry.
I actually really agree with this because like, okay, go on the top 100 on Spotify right now. I bet you 90% of them, it's all from TikTok.
Okay, yeah, no, I do get what you mean because it's like popular. It's because people make these little sound snippets and then they start becoming popular, or they really sped up, and then they put it onto, they obviously go onto Spotify and then they listen to the full length of the song, and then that's how it starts.
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like, and then all of those little songs end up on the radio, and suddenly those are the songs that are most prominent and most popular in our pop culture. But what I was going to say with this is I think it definitely has impacted the music industry in a bad way, in the sense of like all your songs that are popular are just whoever's going viral on TikTok, which really sucks, because to me that doesn't mean that the best songs or the most talented people are actually getting played. But on the other hand, we love Taylor Swift. Her song Cruel Summer is from 2019. And because of TikTok and because of the Taylor Swift fans that have turned it into sounds, suddenly her song 4 years later has become a single and is now a hit single on the radio. Isn't that amazing?
And one of her most streamed songs ever.
And it's from years ago. Like, I just think okay, like, yeah, it's a bit sucky that TikTok decides what songs are popular, but I love Taylor, and I just think that is so cool that that's happened for her, but that wouldn't have happened without TikTok.
I think turning that into a pro as well, I think it's good for smaller artists to be able to like branch out and broadcast their talent.
Yeah, 100%. I think if people are marketing themselves properly, TikTok is like the most powerful tool, especially in music.
Completely agree. We might even just discuss our personal thoughts. So we've just gone over what our viewers have said and voted on in our stories over on Instagram. Keely, what are your very deep personal thoughts about TikTok?
My deep personal
What's your relationship with TikTok? Like, how
relationship?
did you come across the app? What was your experience when you first started using it?
Okay, well, going back to Vine, I was someone that had Vine as a kid, like whenever I had an iPod back in the old days, and I used to make like silly videos. So like, do you remember like, what's the sound? The one that was like, I'm in me mum's car, vroom vroom, get out me car.
Oh, yeah.
And like the berries one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Berries and cream, berries and cream.
No. That's from TikTok.
Oh, see,
I'm talking about Vine days. Anyway, there's just all these really funny sounds. I always think back to that. I heard back in primary school and like early high school because of Vine, and Vine had like such an impact on me originally as a social media platform. So then when Vine shut down, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Like, I was so sad about that. And then Musical.ly came out, and honestly at first I was like, this is a bit cringe. Like, people are just making these silly videos like singing and like doing weird dances. I was like, as a dancer, I'm not a big fan of like TikTok trend dances because they're just a bit like, how you going? Anyway, so at first I thought Musical.ly was a little bit cringe, but then I jumped on the bandwagon and I ended up downloading the app, and it's actually really funny because it still exists. My friend and I started this random account together, and we just made like the stupidest videos and like just all the trends and stuff. And we forgot about it, lost the password. Obviously Musical.ly then turned into TikTok. I thought that meant the account would be gone. No, it still exists. It's still on the internet. If anyone actually found it, they could see the videos. They're public and they're so embarrassing. But going into like what my relationship with TikTok is now, I definitely started heavily using it during COVID. I think that's probably when TikTok blew up, like 2020. That was like when it just became this massive thing. I kind of was just using it to make videos as like a thing to pass time and just like have a little bit of fun. But yeah, kind of that's what I ended up using it for in the first place. And I've just made videos on it ever since. Now I just make little trends and post on it, kind of like Instagram, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about you?
Okay, well, I didn't have an iPod until I was in high school. So I never really grew up with Vine. Like, I know a lot of people have that like memory of it. I've got a very faint memory, but it wasn't like part of like my day to day. Same thing with Musical.ly. I didn't really use that much. I think I made the duet with Selena Gomez.
You did not.
Do you remember that?
I do. What was it? Wait, I'm having a vision.
I'm sensing something.
Something's in my brain.
It was like the heart one. Oh.
I love you like I love.
It was not that. That was from Disney Channel. I'm finding out. Kill him with kindness.
That's what it was.
Kill him with kindness.
Yes, I remember that. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
And it came up, and she like did a partnership with Musical.ly, and it came up, and it was like, oh, like do a video, duet Selena Gomez, and I was like, Selena chose me. I was like, guys, this is my time to shine. Like 15-year-old me was like literally on the edge, being like, oh my God.
Selena chose me for this
anyway,
TikTok.
I think it got like 30 views.
Because TikTok used to invite you to make videos, or Musical.ly.
And it came up with like, Selena Gomez invited you to do a duet with her. And everyone was like, oh my God. And like, I thought it was just me. Anyway, Selena, if you're watching this, I love you.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that was my earliest memory of TikTok becoming a thing. I think, during lockdowns and COVID times, I think everyone was on it. I remember like the whipped coffee.
What?
The whipped coffee. You don't remember the whipped coffee?
I don't remember the whipped coffee. Maybe we're probably on different sides of TikTok.
I think as well. Yeah, like you know how everyone thought it was so cringe, and everyone was like, "I don't do TikTok. I don't download it." And then we all just ended up obsessed with it.
It's really funny because I was one of those people, and like for so long when everyone was getting addicted to it, and like people were posting about how everyone was addicted to it, and they were being like, the government in China's taken over TikTok and they're all going to get. I just didn't have the app because I also thought, oh, it's a waste of time. And then COVID came around, and I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. So I just started using it, and I've never deleted it since. It's been on my phone.
I think as well. I don't post on it regularly, but Kelly and I went on a girls' trip with our mutual friend, and I filmed her doing something really funny. You're going to have to go to TikTok. Going to plug our TikTok right now.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
With the really popular sound, and it went viral.
How many views did it get?
4 million. Yeah.
That's a lot though back then, especially because no one was really like getting
and
now
viral. My account has got 80,000 followers, which I'm not like I sat here earning that, but it's funny how one video can make you popular.
And you know what's really good about that though, because if someone was using TikTok because they wanted it for their business or whatever it might be, that is something that could be life-changing for someone. Like,
oh, absolutely.
in an instant.
It's created careers, it's developed businesses. I do like that about the app.
Going back to something you said before about it used to be like embarrassing to have TikTok. I think it's really interesting because like we went from judging people that, you know, made YouTube videos or posted videos of them talking on Instagram and making TikTok videos. And we always used to just be like, oh, it's so cringe. But now it's so normalized. And I would much rather see videos of people on TikTok than look at photos on Instagram these days, which I think is really interesting. And honestly, personally, I just feel like I don't even feel any shame posting silly things.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Hold on. We are literally producing a podcast now. I think myself in high school, I think being an adult and outside of high school, it is so like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what the girls in my hometown are thinking of me doing this. I don't care. You're living your life. I'm living mine. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Like, if you listen and you're supportive, like that's so great. And like, thank you. But if you're just going to sit there and talk shit in the corner, like people that are more successful than you won't criticize you. You know, like
only people that are less than you will. Not to say anyone's less than, but still.
Mic drop.
Anyone that follows us on TikTok, which is at Instantly20 Podcast, little cheeky little plug. Go follow us. Ash and I would never have posted this stuff in the past, but we made this silly little video the other day during a sleepover, us pretending to like praise Taylor Swift, and it's so silly, and it's the silliest thing we've ever made. And I was like,
giving cult vibes.
It's giving cult vibes. It so is. But we never would have posted that. Like maybe a year ago, absolutely not. But now I feel like there's just no shame with TikTok. Like anything goes, and I honestly love it because I feel like it just allows people to be themselves.
It's just funny. Like life is not that serious.
Exactly. It's so
Make
true.
the video, just be dumb.
Be cringe. Delete it in a year if you really think it's that bad. It's fine. Whatever.
And I'm excited because we're going to be posting some fun stuff. You guys get to know us and to feel a bit more, I don't know.
A bit more connected. A bit more with us.
But yeah, talking about lockdown, and I know that we mentioned earlier that it's very addictive and like people don't really have self-control over like how much they're spending time on the app. I think in lockdown, when this app first came out, we learned how to use it by scrolling for hours because we had nothing else to do with our time. We're all in lockdown. Like, what else were we doing? Just watching TV? Like, we couldn't go outside. So we almost learned how to use the app for scrolling for hours.
I guess it's come like a big habit then for everyone, I guess, just from being in lockdown and like having that experience. And now it's just like a muscle memory of doop, 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 doop.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's like we learned how to use it that way. So it's hard for people to stop. And like I always think, oh, they should create and the app themselves. Like I know you can do it on your own will, like for the phone on like the app. But I think they should instill a time limit for like how much time you can actually spend on it per day. But then obviously.
Yeah, it's like a business thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say as well with that is like, I mean, people have always said this about Instagram, but like it's almost like there should be an end of the feed. but because it's not chronological and like it's just random and it
There's
goes on
no
forever.
end.
Like I don't know about anyone else, but I tend to start like just refreshing it I like watch 5 videos, refresh, watch 5 videos, like refresh. But like you could actually just sit on the same feed and just keep watching TikToks and it would never end. I think that that's probably where the addiction comes in, and like that's why there's an issue with it, because there's no self-control. You could just keep going.
Yeah. Well, we're saying that. Are there any final thoughts that you've got on this before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a few things that I would just find like negatives about TikTok that I wanted to quickly touch on. I think for me, I just find TikTok like a massive bullying platform.
Oh,
Worse than
course.
Instagram. Like, I don't know if you read the comments on like other people's videos, but some of the stuff I see is absolutely awful. Half the time it's from troll accounts. It's not real people. But just like, oh, I just find so many people get such hateful things. Like even the other day, one of my friends, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but she's a bodybuilder, and obviously bodybuilders wear like this really, really dark tan. Someone actually called her Donald Trump's sister or something, like Donald Trump's lookalike. But it was actually really funny because her TikToks ended up blowing up and getting like millions of views in that instant, which was great for her business because she works online. But just like those comments, if you're not a strong-willed person, that could really hurt someone's feelings. And then from there, because someone saw that hateful comment, everyone just jumped on the bandwagon and said other awful things.
That's really interesting that you say that, because the video of mine that went viral with my friend in it, that she got so much hate, and I was like, do you want me to delete this? It was a video of her like taking off like a sticky bra in a restaurant. Like you couldn't see anything bad, but yeah, and people were saying like, oh, she went from like a B cup to a -A cup, and we're just saying like they were funny comments, but she found the joy in it and was like, oh, these people don't know me, like shut up, like ha ha ha. But I was like, do you want me to delete this? Because people are being ruthless.
Well, that jumps into my next point as well, though. With TikTok, you can go viral when you didn't intend to. I feel like a lot of people do post on TikTok going, oh my God, I want this to get lots of views. But if you were just posting something funny like that, or like whatever it might be, a story time for your friends, or like something personal, the algorithm could just blow it up and suddenly the entire internet has seen it and you didn't even mean them to.
You know what's funny? You know how we all sit here and like reference funny TikToks? Because you were there with me when we filmed this viral video. Imagine if girls are sitting out there and that's happened before and they say, have you seen that TikTok? Isn't that funny? I've never thought of that.
But think about it. If you put we're going to a concert next year that's at Accor Stadium, and there's, I believe it's 70 or 80,000 seats from memory. That is a lot of people. Like you sit in that stadium and you go, oh my God, this is crazy. How many stadiums can you fit into 4 million people? Do the math. That's a lot of stadiums.
4 million
Think about how
people.
many 4 million people actually is, and 4 million people watch that TikTok. Is that not crazy?
You know what? At the start, I remember all of us were like, oh my God, that's crazy. And now when people say to me like, oh, you've got 80,000 followers, I'm like, yeah. Like it's just like, I don't think about it.
It's just numbers on an app. But when you put
It's
that
just
many
numbers.
people, wow.
But that many people in a room, or
It's so
4 million
crazy.
people watching a video in a room, that's crazy.
I think also with that point that I just said, it's just like hard because with TikTok, you're so easily accessible by the entire internet at all times.
That's what I think about influencers and content creators. You know, you talk about your relationship, you talk about your life, and you have to explain like, why'd you break up with your boyfriend? Like you can't run from questions.
I think that's why it's so important to keep things to yourself as well. Like as much as if you're an influencer and that's your job and your job is to share your life, it's so hard. You got to try to keep things for yourself and for you in your own life, because otherwise everyone does know everything about you, which is also hard because that also becomes a bit dangerous. You don't want the whole internet, like even with this podcast, sometimes we just like, when we say things, we go, do people need to know that about us? Like, because then people can find out way too many personal things about you that can become scary.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Kelly, that reminds me. Your address was like, your whole address was fully on the internet.
Okay, this was actually really scary. Like this was a while ago and I ended up getting Google to take it down. But one of my previous addresses, I think it was linked to something. It was linked to something else, but somehow it got linked on this random...
With your phone number, email, everything.
Yeah, everything. It got linked on this random website, kind of like a Yellow Pages, but it was in Sweden. It was like a random website. And if you Googled my name, it came up. And I thought that was terrifying. I was like, oh my God, people can know where... I mean, at the time where I lived, I don't live there anymore, so it doesn't... Like, it's not a big deal. But I ended up having to contact Google, get it taken down, but it's just so scary that such personal details can be leaked to the internet.
Something to be very mindful of when you're posting, and even like cars. Like I won't ever post like my car number plate or anything.
Oh, 100%. You just got to be careful, like what private details or numbers or whatever it might be.
Very careful. That's like for such a long time we're like, oh, like our hometown. That's why we never say the word our mutual friends unless they're on the podcast. I guess that's like different, but yeah, it's a hometown. It's not the city. It's a hometown. It's not the friend. It's a mutual friend.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to not give out any details that people don't need to know.
Some very interesting points.
In conclusion, linking it back to the title of the podcast, do we think that TikTok has changed the way we think?
I do. And I think that you are delusional if you don't think it has. It literally is so important in our society at the moment. I think you need to know when to back away from it and protect your peace. And I think with fashion, I think with lifestyle, health, fitness, career, everything, traveling, everything, it makes you compare yourself to other people. And you need to remember that like you are only ever going to share the good highlight moments on the world. Like I'm not going to sit there crying. I mean, some people do on TikTok, but I'm not going to sit there showing you every crappy thing that's happened in my life. I'm going to share with you like the funny things, the good things.
I think my final thought is that I find TikTok great for finding out firsthand info. I find it extremely like fun, and I think you can sometimes find more trustworthy information on TikTok than on the news. But I think when it comes back to, has it changed the way we think? Yes, it has, and you need to trust your own judgment. If you're seeing information on TikTok, take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Maybe Google some news articles. Don't always just believe the first thing you see and believe that that's gospel.
Absolutely. Very, very interesting episode. I've had a
good time
fun,
with this one.
lots of insights.
For sure. I think this is something we wanted to touch on for a while, and definitely won't be the last time, but obviously today was specifically TikTok. But if you enjoy hearing about this sort of thing, we will definitely be discussing more social media going forward.
I'd love to touch on Instagram and YouTube and yeah.
Because I was going to say something we didn't touch on today was comparison and body image, which we are going to do down the track. But I think in specifically related to Instagram, I think it would be good to definitely touch on that.
100%. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. Thank you as always for tuning in. Yeah. Beautiful. What's the word that I say?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You literally said it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, but thank you so much for listening to today's episode, guys. Once again, follow us on TikTok at Instantly20podcast. Same for Instagram. And if you want to send us any of your thoughts, you can also send us an email. It's at instantly20podcast@gmail.com.
Turn off your phone for a little bit this afternoon. Just have some you time. Get off TikTok for a few hours and enjoy your day.
Absolutely. And also, if you want to go check out your settings for your insights, I think it's really important and sometimes shocking to see what your usage on your phone is.
4 to 5 hours, Keely.
I'm going to prove to you that wasn't true. It was an accident. But yes, go check that out. Go do some mindfulness. Close your eyes. Read books. 100%.
Yeah. Go do something other than TikTok. Delete it for the afternoon.
You know what you should do? Listen to this podcast instead of going on TikTok. I said what I said.
Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Bye.